Hello and welcome. My name is Dr. Molly Dreesen, and I am a recent graduate from the University of Minnesota School of Social Work. I will be presenting this module titled A Domestic Violence Court, Data from Offenders of Intimate Partner Violence. I am presenting this module on behalf of Dr. Lynette Renner, who is the principal investigator of this research project, and Kenny Turk, a doctoral student from the University of Minnesota School of Social Work PhD program. This module is a follow-up to the two-part module series from last year that explored the role of domestic violence courts, or DVCs, for families, partners, and children impacted by intimate partner violence, or IPV. Please refer to these modules for further information on the DVC reviewed specifically for this study and to learn more about DVCs and IPV more broadly. We also developed a module earlier this year that focused on the DVC from the perspective of female victims. The content of this module is focused on offenders and includes data that were collected from 6 males who completed the DVC in Mille Lacs County in Minnesota. There are 3 learning objectives for this module. First, we hope that by participating in this module, you will have a greater understanding of the history and goals of DVCs. Second, that you will be able to connect the importance of DVCs to child welfare needs and goals. And third, recognize the impact of DVCs for victims of IPV. To set the foundation for this module, it is important to review some key information about IPV, child welfare, and DVCs. A broad definition of IPV includes physical violence, sexual violence, or stalking by an intimate partner. IPV also includes psychological or emotional abuse, financial abuse, and the use of coercive tactics. Although IPV may impact any individual regardless of their sex or gender, research demonstrates a higher prevalence of victimization among females and a higher rate of perpetration among males. Displayed on the slide are some statistics pertaining to the prevalence of IPV, and as evident, IPV affects millions of adults and children in the U.S. IPV impacts all members of a family system and can have a variety of negative consequences for individuals and families. This diagram provides an illustration of the connections between IPV and child welfare. As previously discussed, many adults and children experience significant adverse mental health and physical health outcomes due to IPV. We also know that IPV has potential negative impacts on the parent-child relationship, such as challenges with communication and coping. Families impacted by IPV also may be involved with the child welfare system in a variety of ways. Researchers and service providers should think critically about how to best support parents and their children who experience IPV as they navigate across various systems, including justice and court systems. This pilot project was designed in 2019 to evaluate the DVC in Mille Lacs County, which closely partners with the Pearl Crisis Center and other community partners to provide victim support advocacy. Some of the goals of this study included improving service delivery, beginning initial data collection, and providing recommendations based on this data. The data that will be presented in this module were collected through a survey that was given to offenders who graduated. A different but similar survey was also designed and given to victims who participated in the DVC. These results were presented in an earlier module. It also is important to note that this project's data collection, along with the DVC process, was impacted by COVID-19, making it more challenging to collect data and complete the data collection efforts that were originally planned. The Mille Lacs County DVC exists in partnership with the Pearl Crisis Center. The mission of Mille Lacs County DVC is to end the cycle of domestic violence through a timely, focused, and collaborative process. To meet this mission, the objectives of the Mille Lacs County DVC include improving public safety by decreasing offender recidivisms through increased accountability for offenders, and increased victim safety by collaboration among criminal justice systems and community organizations. Additional goals include expanding data collection activities and using findings for recommendations across practice, policy, and future research settings. The next few slides review DVCs, including the DVC in Mille Lacs County. Although it is estimated that there are over 300 DVCs across the U.S., there's a lack of significant literature and evaluation studies on the impact of these courts. And although there are no specific criteria for how these courts are administered and surveyed, the broader goals have similarities in promoting victim safety, offender accountability, and overall administration of justice. The pathway to the Mille Lacs County DVC begins for offenders when they are screened in due to a prior felony conviction and are currently being charged with a felony-level domestic assault-related charge. Offenders agree to follow all pretrial release conditions, which include all basic release conditions and those specific to the DVC. Release conditions specific to the DVC include random surveillance conducted by the assigned DVC law enforcement officer and the DOC probation officer. Requirements for pretrial surveillance include weekly compliance hearings, random testing, surveillance, participation in the whereabouts phone line, complying with the 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. curfew, and engaging, demonstrating, and documenting 24 hours of positive activity weekly. If an offender is found to not be in compliance with any DVC rules, an arrest order is issued and this individual is taken into custody immediately. Offenders must complete requirements for all 3 phases of the DVC programming and complete all treatment plans and recommendations in a minimum of 330 days. Phase 1 is a minimum of 90 days, and phases 2 and 3 are each a minimum of 120 days. Completion requirements include probation agreements, assessments and evaluations, weekly compliance hearings, curfew, 24 hours of positive weekly activity, a 250-hour volunteer project, the Batterers Intervention Program, random drug testing, and surveillance. Phase 1 is a minimum of 90 days and focuses on obtaining evaluations and assessments and begin recommendations. Offenders must complete weekly compliance hearings, maintain a 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. curfew, engage in 24 hours of positive weekly activity, and complete random testing, surveillance, and report to the whereabouts line. Phase 2 is a minimum of 120 days and includes bi-monthly compliance hearings, completing a 50-hour volunteer project, maintaining a 1 a.m. to 6 a.m. curfew, engaging in 24 hours of weekly positive activity, completing the Batterers Intervention Program, and agreeing to random testing and surveillance. Phase 3 is a minimum of 120 days and includes monthly compliance hearings, completion of a 50-hour volunteer project, engage in 24 hours of positive weekly activity, complete the Batterers Intervention Program, random testing and surveillance, and maintain a 1 a.m. to 6 a.m. curfew. Since this survey was implemented in the fall of 2019, 6 offenders participated in and completed the Mille Lacs County Domestic Violence Court. 3 offenders identified as white, 2 as Native American, and 1 refrained from reporting. 1 person earned an associate's degree as their highest level of education, 4 earned high school diplomas, and 1 earned their GED. 4 of the 6 participants did not have children with their victim. The average time for the participants to complete the DVC program was greater than 20 months, with a range of greater than 14 months to less than 34 months. This slide presents the participants' participation statistics, including their start and end date in their program, their attendance range for completing BIP, start dates for each phase, including for participant number 3, who demonstrates repeating phases 2 and 3. This slide also highlights each offender's total violations, total surveillance checks, and total weekly court hearings in which they participated. 6 participants completed the Batterer Intervention Program, 3 participated in a chemical health assessment and treatment, 1 engaged in the Mille Lacs County Band's Halfway House, 1 participated in AANA. All 6 participants were engaged in probation and surveillance, and 1 participated in psychotherapy. The slide presents the participants' arrest dates, charges, and conviction data. Participant arrest dates ranged from the fall of 2016 to January of 2019. The charges included felony domestic assault for all 6 participants. Each had at least 2 and as many as 7 related charges. In addition to felony domestic assault charges, convictions included felony harassment restraining order and felony no contact order violations, and a 5th-degree drug-related felony conviction. The next several slides present qualitative responses from the participants that were collected from the survey. The questions allow participants to reflect on their participation in various aspects of the DVC and to provide their perspectives. In this slide, offenders shared their perspectives on sanctions imposed by the judge they received while participating in the DVC. Participants described their experiences with sanctions in their own words. Participant 5 stated, "While I had a couple of times where I strayed outside the bounds of the rules and the punishment put me back in line." Participant 6 verbalized, "I understand there's always consequences for my actions." And participant 2 reported, "I was late for a call and was warned to not let it happen again, or there will be consequences, like jail time or curfew adjustment." This slide presents offender participation and engagement with community services while in the DVC. All offenders participated in the Batterers Intervention Program. 3 participated in a chemical health assessment and or treatment, 1 sought psychotherapy, 1 engaged with the Mille Lacs County Band Halfway House, 1 participated in AANA. All 6 participants engaged regularly in supervision and case management activities with probation agents and surveillance agents. In the survey, participants were asked to identify the most helpful component of the DVC. Batterers intervention programs are named as the most helpful component. Participants described why the BIP was helpful to them. Participant 5 stated, "For me, it was just BIP, and the most important was the examination of scenarios and realizing where it got out of control, and the recognition of the situations I must leave." Other participants remarked how the BIP officer was observed in a positive way. Participant 1 verbalized the BIP officer was very smart and wise to the subject, while participant 2 said she was always straightforward and never sugarcoated anything. And another said she was a person I could trust and talk to without being judged. In the survey, participants were asked about their intervention with the DVC judge, and the slide presents 3 different perspectives. Participant 2 stated, "The judge always treated me with respect and asked me questions that were personable. And I respected that because it was my personal life is what needed the most help, and I was late with a call once and got a stern warning that wasn't at all threatening or did not make me want to be defiant. I was treated respectfully and in return gave the respect shown to me." Participant 5 indicated, "I did the things that I was supposed to almost all of the time, and that made things better in my life, and the judge recognized my progress. It made me feel good about myself." Participant 6 recounted a different experience when he reported the judge said to him, "In my house, forgetting to do something is disobedient. Personally, I didn't grow up in this house, so I didn't agree on his morals or on forgetting to do something. I'm human, so I can't be perfect. He treated me, only seeing me as a criminal, not a person who is heavily damaged and grown up in a toxic home." This slide displays quotes from participants to describe their interactions with the probation officer while participating in the DVC. Overall, participants expressed positive interactions with the probation officers. Participant 6 said, "He's a good probation agent. He helped me and understood when I was going through a rough time with all of the deaths that were happening last year. He looked at me and treated me like I was a human being unlike everyone else. He understood I was human and made mistakes, but also saw I was trying to change." Participant 2 know that the probation officer listened and always did what was best for my overall being. Participant 5 said, he was tough but fair, understanding, and believed in me. He saw a better person in me than what I had been." Participants 1 and 3 described the probation officer as fair by stating, "He was very fair and he treated me fair." This slide captures information from participants with respect to their surveillance officer. Except for 1 participant reporting his surveillance officer, always thought I was lying or hiding something. The other participants verbalized positive interactions. Comments included, he was cool, he treated me like a person, treated me fair. I know I keep saying this phrase, but it's true, they all treated me fair. He was always polite and concerned and always very professional, and he was all good and very pleasant. This slide shows the participants' own words with respect to what their life was like before and after in the Mille Lacs County DVC. These responses reflect some of the challenges prior to participation and some of the positive reported outcomes. Participants identified life as chaotic, messy, and stressful prior to participating in the DVC. Participant 5 described how he was constantly in the struggle I didn't want and blind to how to end it. Participant 6 described treating his partner in a very fucked up manner and wasn't going anywhere in life. After completing the DVC, participants reported life is so much better. I now have the ability to let things go in the moment, walk away from situations, and even remove people from my life. I can let myself leave someone I love when it's unhealthy. Other impacts included reports of sobriety, completion of GED, stable jobs, family stable and positive, and good things all around. I love my life now. Survey participants were asked if there were services they did not receive while participating in the DVC. All participants answered there were no services they did not receive, which implies the DVC involves fairly comprehensive services. Participant 5 offered a recommendation to integrate DVC with drug court by writing, I think it was complete for its focus, but should be coupled with drug court, I think. I know that program was not in place when I went through the DVC court, but I wish it had been. This slide includes advice from the DVC graduates to new program participants. Participant 2 advised, get into treatment, alcohol and drugs go hand in hand with domestic violence. Follow all rules and always make sure to call in and find programs that help you work on you. Participant 1 advised, if you want to change for the better, then be honest and follow the program. Participant 6 included, trust and talk openly to the probation officer. They are there to help. Participant 5 offered, listen to and believe what they tell you. And finally, participant 4 advised to comply and learn from it. This slide presents statements from each offender describing how they benefited from their participation in the DVC. Participant 5 stated, so the skills and self-knowledge and the knowledge of others and situation I gained was instrumental in making changes which to this day make me a better person. It was great and taught me so much once I let go of my resentment and listened. Gave me the skills, awareness, and self-worth to perform the actions, to let things go in the moment, walk away from situations and people when it's unhealthy. Participant 2 expressed that the DVC has been beneficial in every aspect of my life. Participant 3 described that they are much better and calmer due to participating in the DVC. According to participant 4, a lot better and peaceful. Things are going amazing for me. Participant 1 described that he now has better relationships with my girlfriend, family, and friends. And participant 6 said the DVC assisted in getting my life back together, taught me how to treat my partner and kids, and how to not be on the power and control wheel. There are many DVC programs operating within the United States. However, it is unclear how effective they are due to a lack of research in this area. As indicated by these 6 participants' own words, there were benefits of participating in the Mille Lacs County DVC. These included positive descriptions of DVC participation, which facilitated participants learning more about the consequences of IPV and providing a supportive pathway toward positive change. Please remember there's a post-quiz for each of these modules that must be completed in order for you to obtain educational credit. Please don't hesitate to reach out with any questions or interest to continue the conversation in relation to these topics. The last slide presents the references that were used to create this module. Thank you for watching.